Magandang araw sa inyo mga kabansa. Kayo ay nasa Iparas kay Paras. At ito ay inyong lingkod Ado Paglinawan na nagbubungad ng pagbati para sa ating sekretary.
Magandang hapon po muli sa inyo mga mahal kong kababayan. At mga kababayan, siguro if you look back during the last last Blue Ribbon Committee hearing, at naalala nyo na doon yung isang former Marine na nagngangalan na Orly Gutesa ay nagiging testigo po. He was a witness or ordinarily called a resource person. But, you know, when you talk of Blue Ribbon Committee, it's really more of a witness. Because of the special function of the Blue Ribbon Committee to investigate. At doon po, dalawang issue ang nangyayari dyan. Una, I personally spoke with Congressman Marcoleta, and he told me na pinaalam niya talaga kay Lacson na mayroong gusto mag-testify. At pumayag naman si Lacson. Mag-testify itong si Gutesa. At true enough, doon sa kay Gutesa, mayroon siyang daladalang affidavit. Purportedly, the affidavit was notarized by a certain lady lawyer. So, pinayagan siyang binasa niya yung content ng affidavit. But prior to that, just like any other witness or resource person, you have to take an oath to authenticate
What you would say.
What you will say. You will be asked if whether or not you're telling the truth.
The whole truth and
nothing but the truth. Yun ang susumpa mo. So, ibig sabihin,
bago ka magsalita,
yung sasabihin mo, pagsalita mo, ay under oath. And iba naman yung affidavit mo na binasa mo. So, yung content ng affidavit is one thing. Yung sinabi mo orally and you were asked questions about it, that's a different story, no? Because you also were making those statements under oath. Pero ngayon, it seems that after the hearing, hindi siguro nila akalain ni Lacson at ni Soto that indeed, this is a power blast na testimony because it speaks of delivery of bundles and bundles or bags and bags of money. Billions containing billions of pesos to the suspects home, Saldico and Martin Romualdez. And even to the doorstep of Malacanang, which is Aguado. So, nabigla sila Lacson, nabigla sila si Soto.
Smoking gun
Oo. So ngayon, since napayagan na nila, they want to put water.
Cold
the
water.
Fire extinguisher into the fire. Kasi hindi nakalain na kaya nga tinulungan siya maging Senate President ni Marcos. Binali yung kamay ng dalawang bilyar at saka si Cayetano para manalo si Soto. Parang sabihin naman ni Marcos na, Soto, bakit mo naman malusot yun. Baka mapalapit yan sa aking pinto. So, para mahimasmasan ang testimony, kini-question ka agad ni Lacson na yun, yung notary public, na ito daw ay determinant of the veracity of the truthfulness of the witness. Kasi kung nagsinungaling daw sa kanyang affidavit by not saying that the affidavit was authentic, kasi iba ang pumirma, hindi daw inamin nung notary public na siya ang pumira, it will create doubt. It will dwell on the credibility of the witness, paring ano. So, para mag-proceed doon sa kanyang theory, sinabit niya sa court yung affidavit. In the first place,
highly irregular.
Oh, very highly irregular, at halatang-halata ka, Coratong Baleling Senador, kasi the Senate itself has the power to do that. You don't need to go to the court.
Humanap ng kakampi sa judiciary.
Because if you want to authenticate the affidavit, the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee is capable of doing that. You can call on this notary public to testify. You can call, dapat nag-imbestiga din kayo. Because you can get the notary public to be one of the witnesses. Yung kanyang mga tauhan sa opisina, pwedeng imbestigahan.
Teka, anong klaseng motion yung pinail niya sa
Hindi ko alam.
RTC?
Hindi ko alam.
Anong klaseng motion
Kaya
yun?
nga very unclear eh. But anyway, let's listen. Let's check this, what Lacson is saying. No? Okay.
Sige. Lacson says, lawyer's signature on Gutesa affidavit found fake.
Okay.
Senate President pro tempore Pampilo Ping Lacson said that the Manila Regional Trial Court found that the signature in the affidavit of surprise witness Orly Gutesa was not that of the lawyer whose name appeared on the document. Lacson, who is expected to return as chairman of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, said that while Gutesa's sworn statement in the flood control hearing remained valid, there's still an issue of credibility since he supposedly lied when he claimed that Attorney Pichi Rosie Spera notarized his affidavit. May findings na, may resolution na yung executive judge ng Manila RTC na patunayan na hindi talaga signature o pirma ng notaryo ni Attorney Espera yung kanyang sinumpaang salaysay. Lacson said in the Super Radio DCWB interview. The executive judge of the Manila Trial Court already issued findings or a resolution. It was proven that signature on his sworn affidavit was not that of the notary, Attorney Espera.
Okay. But if you analyze what this Coratong Baleling Senator is saying, napakababaw. Napakakulang ng facts.
Bakit yan dinala sa kusina? Pwede naman niya isang Espera na yan sa
Senate.
Sa Senate.
Parang
para transparent.
takot kasi siya. Pag pinatawag niya yon,
lalo lalaki, sunog.
Pag in-interpellate nila ay Cayetano nila Marcoleta, yung Espera niya.
Lalabas.
What Lacson has failed to say here is that he relied so much on just the mere findings of the judge that fake na yung signature ni Espera. Pero hindi niya inusisa pare. Kasi yung usual practice ng notary public. Kasi nakalagay nga doon, 24 hours yung practice niya. Yung pag-notarize na, 24 hours yung opisina niya.
Si Attorney Espera.
And she is an employee of the jail management. Ha? Oh. So,
BJMP.
BJMP, Bureau of Jail and Management.
Paano nga yun?
So, paano siya magiging 24 hours na mag-notarize when he is working in a regular office?
Government.
Mm,
Government office.
mm.
Pwede bang mag-notary yan?
Pwede
Oh.
mag-sign.
Ah?
But that's not the issue there. The issue
Oh.
is, kung nagtatrabaho ka doon, pumunta si Espera sa opisina mo, wala ka naman doon. So, sinong pumirma?
Sino
The
po?
normal thing is that may turong kang clerk doon. Dalawang babae yan or lalaki na may tangay noong libro. Ha? Siguro ipakita natin, baka hindi na picture ni Ping Lacson kung paano mag-notarize. So, pupunta ka sa opisina, kukunin yung papeles mo. Sir, may kopya ka bang ilang copies? 5 copies. Sir, ID. May ID po ba kayo? Kayo ba bang...
Ikaw ba talaga yan?
Ikaw dito. Sabi ni Gutesa, ako po yan. Okay, sige sir. So, ipoprocess niya yan. Tapos tatakanan niya yan. Ganyan-ganyan.
Selyo.
Tapos selyo, ganyan. Tapos, nasa opisina yung si Espera. So, may usapan sila ni Espera, yung clerk, na, you sign in my behalf. Did you investigate, Mr. Lacson? Did the judge investigate? Pinatawag ba ng judge yung kanyang mga clerk? Kung hindi ba sila? Anong malay ni Gutesa na pinipresenta niya ang papeles, tapos nung binalik na sa kanya, may pirma na.
Alam mo, pulis itong si Lacson. Hindi yung behavior ni Gutesa ang questionable dito. Yung behavior ni Espera
ang questionable.
Kasi malay ni Gutesa na doon sa likod ng kwarto wala naman talaga si Espera doon.
For sure, hindi talaga si Espera ang pumirma dyan. Pero pinirma ang pangalan ni Espera. Pinirma ang pangalan pinirmahan ang pangalan ni Espera by the possibility ng kanyang mga tauhan.
Anong culpability ni Gutesa ron?
Kaya nga, so, wala pang, alam mo ito si Lacson, wala pang ang proof na it was really Gutesa who forged the signature. Mayroon ka bang proof, Lacson, na
si Gutesa pumirma para kay Espera?
Para kay Espera?
Ay, paano yung selyo?
Dapat imbestigahan mo lahat yan. Tapos yung doon sa record book, kung ipasumon mo yung record book. Kasi may mga number yan sunod-sunod yan. Kung the day before mayroong or earlier mayroong nagpanotarize, so may number yan. Sunod-sunod yan. Tapos may date, may time. Pinatawag ba ng judge yung libro? Record book ng notary book? Alam mo, paltos ka, dapat hindi ka muna kuratong baleleng senador na magdadaldal. Ang hilig mong magdadaldal, I dare you, ipatawag mo yun si Espera sa Senate para yung mga ibang members ng Senado makapag cross-examine, makapag interpellate kay Espera.
Bakit RTC yung gagawa nun?
Alam mo, RTC belongs to the judiciary. The Blue Ribbon Committee belongs to another branch of government.
Legislative.
How could we be certain that this judge is not being paid or is aspiring for a higher position at gustong pumapil? At nagmuro-muro sila na walang due process yan. Final na ba yung desisyon ng judge? Wala bang appeal yan na someone will contest na, mali yung evaluation mo, judge. Hindi totoo yan na si Espera. Hindi talaga siyang pumirma dyan. Did you conduct a hearing? Nag-conduct ba yung judge ng hearing na pinatawag niya yung mga tauhan ni Espera? At tinanong kung nandoon ba, pumunta ba si Gutesa doon? At marami yung loophole, yung mga daldal mo, Kuratong, baliling senator.
At saka yung mga testigo niya. Pagka-testigo, iti-turn over sa DOJ. Pagbalik, may supplemental affidavit na.
Kaya nga, alam mo, ang taong bayan,
ay, naku, bistado ka
ginagawa yung, actually, dapat mahiya ka na, Kuratong, baliling senador. Hindi ka na dapat bumalik dyan.
Alam mo, bukas na
sa pagka-chairman. Because, bistado ka na eh.
Tawag nila dyan, Pinky, ang tawag ko dyan, Pandora eh. Kasi bukas na yung Pandora's Max.
Tapos mayroong itong mga bayad na mga media, kung ano-anong pinagsabi. Tapos mag-i-interview ng pabor na tatanga-tanga ng mga abogado. Something like this. Tingnan mo itong Musnge. Siyempre, empleyado ito ng ABS-CBN eh. Siyempre, galit yan kay Duterte. Yung Peter Musnge na ito. Kilala ko ito, loyal ng ABS-CBN yan. He will never say anything that will be favorable in the end to the Dutertes.
Para sa mga hindi masyadong nakakaalam sa batas, ang pinag-uusapan lang po naman dito, pineke daw yung signature ng notaryo. So, does that mean merong po bang pananagutan si witness Gutesa or yun po ba it doesn't invalidate kung ano man yung kanyang testimonya?
Well, kung mapapatunayan Peter and Rica na forged yun or fabricated o hindi ayon sa Notarial Act, ang ginawang pagpa-create ng dokumentong yun, walang notarization properly undertaken, then that is inadmissible in evidence.
So parang it becomes void ab initio, as you would say?
Parang ganun po, Peter, parang ganun. But again, there is a presumption of regularity. There is a prima facie evidence or presumption na ito ay tunay at authentic, subject to rebuttal. And sasabihin nila na hindi naman nangyari yun, wala namang notaryong ginawa, notarization, then that would already overcome the presumption of regularity. And therefore, it is inadmissible in evidence.
Okay.
But sir, meron kang notarized affidavit. Pagdating mo sa Senate hearing, you are sworn to oath. Di po ba? At magbibigay ka ng testimonya doon. Ano po ang diferensya nung dalawa? Or does one overpower the other?
Well, again, ang presumption authentic yun, yung present. I think we're talking about the presentation sa Senate committee, sa Blue Ribbon Committee,
Yes po.
Okay. Kung present yun at sinabing ito ay notarized affidavit, then there's a presumption of regularity nga, as I mentioned. But kung napatunayan na hindi pala ni-notarized yun at it was not in the records of the notarial public na sinasabing nag-notarize, then that is inadmissible in evidence. And the person who presented that forged, allegedly notarized document, subject to liability rin yun.
Opo. What I mean by this, attorney, is kung kunyari, yung laman ng kanyang affidavit na pinapirma sa notaryo ay kapareho lang din naman sa kanyang inihayag sa Senate hearing under oath, pwede bang i-waive na o hindi na ba iisipin etong affidavit na notarized kung sinabi na rin naman niya under oath the same items na inilathala niya doon sa notarized affidavit?
Gandang question yan, Rica. But dapat himayin natin yan eh. If you presented the forged document as appeared to have been the case, then inadmissible in evidence yan. Ngayon, kung itutuloy nung witness na yon na orally by testimony sa Senate proceedings at pinatunayan niya na ang kanyang exactly yung sinabi niya dun sa forged affidavit ay pareho, then the Senate committee can assess that on the basis of what he orally testified on.
Let's talk about how do we cure the situation? Meron po bang legal remedy ngayong meron na pong Manila Regional Trial Court na nagsabi na peke nga? Meron pa po bang way para ma-preserve yung testimony na yon?
Hindi tatawagin ulit yung witness at patunayan niya na totoo ang sinabi niya sa forged dokumento niya, notarized, allegedly notarized. Patunayan yun independently of the forged affidavit or forged notarial affidavit kuno.
Okay.
So, pag kinonfirm niya sinabi niya, then the Senate will independently assess and evaluate the truthfulness or falsity of his testimony before the Senate committee.
Itong Muskie na ito, napaka-engot talaga yun ito. Pinapakita niya yung kanyang walang alam. And I praise the lady. I don't know if she's a lawyer. I don't know her name. But she asked really very good and relevant question. And true enough, ang sagot naman ni Attorney Domingo, dapat pakinggan ito ni Ping Lacson. Because independently, the testimony of Gutesa, apart from the contents of his affidavit, is exactly, or even if it's not the same, exactly, but it was stated under oath, it can stand on its own 2 feet.
In fact, miski alisin na yung affidavit.
And the Senate itself, kung hindi bias si Ping Lacson, hindi bias si Soto, if they'll take it in the light of fairness, equity, may weight, ang laki ng weight ng sinasabi ni Gutesa, regardless of yung kanyang affidavit has been forged. The signature of the notary public is forged or not. It's Pero alam mo, in real cases, kung hindi bobo itong kuratong baleling na senador na ito, dapat i-apply niya yung common sense. Why would Gutesa appear in the Senate and present a forged affidavit, knowing that magtitestify siya on the truth of what he has been saying? Di ba? Kung alam ko, manginginig ako, kung alam ko na akong pumirma doon sa affidavit, tapos ipresenta mo, hindi ka ba manginginig?
Alam mo, Secretary, ang technicality rito, hindi yung notary. Ang technicality rito, si Pampilo Lacson.
He is the one that is causing the technicality because of his mga irrelevant statements about, tignan natin yung credibility. Nagsalita na yung tao. Bakit yung affidavit ang tingnan mo? Yung credibility nung nagtanong si Ping Lacson, nagtanong si Erwin Tulfo.
In fact, mas maraming sinabi si Gutesa orally kaysa nung sa nakalagay sa affidavit.
Yes.
And ang impeccable dyan, yung records, yung transcript ng Senado, because that's under oath.
At saka, now, if he really wants to go to the bottom without being stupid, like going to the court and let the court determine the authenticity of the signature of the notary public, the best he could do is why is it that i-give up mo yung power ng Senate to investigate to the judge when you yourself as the Blue Ribbon can investigate whether the signature of the notary public is authentic or not. Pwede mo ipatawag yung Espera.
Humanap ng kakampi.
Tatanungin mo si Espera, sino bang nag-handle ng opisina mo, Madam Attorney? Sinasabi mo, 24 hours ka. Ikaw ba ang nagmaman ng opisina mo so that kung may magpapanotarize, ikaw mismo ang nag-ano? Or may mga tao ka na pinagkatiwalaan mo na umuupo doon sa opisina mo to handle the people who will ask for the notarization of their documents. So, iimbestigahan din yung mga tao niya.
Hindi. Alam mo, Attorney, ako, nag-file ako as a plaintiff sa RTC, over a property. Okay. Gumawa na ako ng affidavit.
Pagpunta mo sa notary. Sinong nag-attend sa'yo? Yung lawyer mismo? Yung notary public mismo ang kausap mo?
Hindi ko na alam. Basta may nag-notaryo doon. Basta binigay ko, hindi naman ako pwede pumasok doon sa kwarto eh.
Well, ako, in my case, kasi madalas ako magpa-notarize dahil I have some properties na binibenta mo or may mga affidavit ng na walang mga bagay mo, affidavit of loss, affidavit. Mayroon akong suki na notary public. So, pagpunta ko doon, nung una, mayroong lawyer na matanda na, I think he was 84, 85 years old. Pero nag-notarize pa rin. So, ang ginawa ko, submit ko yung papel. Di ba? Tapos, they work on it, no? Kinukuha yung kopya nila, tapos nilalagyan niya ng date. Tinatatakan niya kung Pasig ka, Pasig City, ganyan. Tapos may yung doon sa kilid ng slot na for the notary public to sign, may mga diyan doc number, series o ganyan. Pipil upan niya nung tao. In actuality, hindi yun yung lawyer ang nag-fill up niya. Hindi yung notary. It's his assistant. So pagkatapos na niya ng niyan, dadalhin niya doon sa abogado, yung 85 years old na lawyer na may opisina din doon sa gilid. So pipirmahan. So yun ang nung una. Ngayon, bago naman ang the same people, kasi namatay yung notary, kinuha sila ng isang notary public.
Iba naman yun.
Iba naman notary public. Pero they were hired again by this notary. So doon pa rin ako pumunta. Ngayon, ang nangyayari, dinadala ngayon yung papel doon sa another office. Maghintay ka ng 5-10 minutes, pipirmahan ng
Hindi ka humaharap doon sa notary public?
Hindi ka humaharap kasi yun ang practice eh.
Yun ang SOP.
Pero you actually went there. Kasi ang nakalagay naman, kaya nga, the practice really is illegal in the sense that it does not jive with the signature of the notary that he personally appeared and has submitted his documents and so on and so forth. I've known him to be the one who is
Ngayon, ito ang tanong ko. Kung sufisyente na yon at yung papeles na yon ang talagang importante, as plaintiff, bakit pauupuin pa ako ng huwes?
To authenticate.
At tatanungin pa ako tungkol doon sa affidavit na
is this your signature? Is this your
ito ba talaga sinabi mo?
At saka,
yung kabila, magtatanong din.
Pareho lang yung sinasabi mo doon sa nangyari kay Gutesa.
Kaya nga.
He authenticated personally the contents because ang concept ng notarization is only to make it a public document. Halimbawa,
a record.
May date of sale tayo. Okay. Tapos, hindi tayo nagpa-notarize. Does it mean na hindi mo i-recognize yung ating kontrata? Yeah? An unnotarized, a private document, not unnotarized, is still valid between the two persons
Yes.
who signed the document.
It's the law between the parties.
Now, pagka binenta mo yung property na yan doon sa third party, kailangan ng public document because wala akong kakilala doon sa third party.
Documentation.
So, kailangan na ng ipanotarize mo para maniwala siya na public document yung ano. Kasi kung tayo lang dalawa, we can prove against each other. Pero kung third party na, hindi na siya maniniwala because kayo na ng dalawa nag-usap, wala na ako eh. So it must be in a public document.
By the way, miski na yung, halimbawa, isang papeles na notaryuhan, lumampas na more than 10 years, 15 years. Nabalikan ko pa yan, doon sa records ng notarial record ng
Yes.
At nandoon at na-verify at sine-certify nila that a certain document
So,
really exists.
because it was no longer between you and the original,
Yes.
It is now, you're dealing now with a third party
Yes.
who you want them to
Verify.
believe that the documents you had before were done
Authentic.
as to, kasi when you have it notarized, it is defensible against the whole world.
Pero pag ako ay umupo na roon at nag-testify na ito. Yun na ang record ng korte.
Okay. So, tingin ko siguro
Yun
itong
ang
Balelerin
record
na
ng Senado.
hindi niya
ma-absorb.
ma-absorb ito. Kasi lalo na pagka may agenda siya,
May agenda.
may agenda.
May gagalit. Pagka,
May magagalit. Baka sabihin na tanggalin na nga natin yung ano.
pinanalo ka namin tapos you're not following instructions. Delikado.
But anyway, going to the investigation na pinagyabang ni Marcos na talagang he is into it, look at this. Look at what he did. Itong ICI. Tingnan mo. Nagrereklamo sila na hindi daw nag-a-appeal yung mga pinagtawag nila to appear as resource persons or witnesses in the investigation. Hindi daw kasi pinadalan daw nila ng subpoena. Siyempre, kung ako ang pinadalhan, siyempre, pupunta ako sa abogado ko. Sir, pinatawag ako. Sabihin ng abogado, tingnan ko nga itong batas ng ICI. Ay, wala namang power yan na isubpoena. Huwag kang pumunta. Wala namang power yan na magsubpoena. They are not authorized to subpoena. You can go there on your voluntarily, but if you don't want to appear, walang power yan because this is a delegation, the creation of the ICI, mga kababayan, is a mere delegation of the power of the president.
And
To
the
conduct.
president.
Now, if the president do not have the power that he delegated, how can this office also function using the power which is absent to the one that created
How
it?
can you give something you do not have?
Yes. So, nasaan na yung sinasabi nitong hukasa? Hukasa ba?
Well, Ed, nung tama kayo, no, yung una kasing pinadala, I had it checked, no, because alam naman ho natin na wala dito si former Congressman Saldico. So naturally po, hindi po siya makaka-attend. But we wanted to make sure that a second one will be sent para in case na baka ho by some miracle mag-attend ho siya, di better, no? But kung wala po, at least covered po lahat ng basis natin in proper and possible po mag-file tayo ng petition for contempt against him in the proper courts po. So naninigurado lang po kami para in case that hindi po, kumbaga mag-file tayo ng contempt proceedings, covered po yung basis natin.
What would trigger that? What would trigger the filing of a contempt petition with the courts?
Unang-una po, siyempre, pagka hindi po siya maka-attend, then it means he failed to comply with the invitation or the summons or the subpoena of the ICI. No? So pupunta po kami ngayon yan. We will make the necessary studies and petition before the regional trial court.
Gaano kalayo pa, attorney, yung pagsampa ng kaso para ma-cancel yung kanyang passport? Philippine passport.
Yung ano po kasi, yung pag-file ng, meron pong mga requisites dyan, no? Gaya nga po ng sinasabi nila, kuminsan po kailangan dyan, fugitive from justice siya, no? Sa ngayon po kasi, if I'm not mistaken, wala pa pong kaso na ipa-file talaga sa kanya, no? Nagsisimula po dyan. Kung habang wala po, then we have no basis to file any petition or request for the cancellation of his passport. So, nag-uumpisa po kasi doon yun
Engot nitong tao na to. Unang-una, pupunta siya sa judge to declare Saldico in contempt. Alam ba niya yung meaning ng contempt of court? Siyempre, kung basahin mo yung contempt, mayroong indirect at saka direct contempt. Indirect contempt is when you don't obey the orders of the court mismo. Ito order nila, separate sa court. Paano ka magpapile ng contempt to declare Saldico in contempt by the court when the court is not the one that issued the subpoena, and the court is not the one being ignored? Because wala namang in-order ng subpoena ang court. Ikaw ang ICI ang nag-order. So paano mo? Doon naman sa direct contempt, Saldico was not in front of the judge. Or gumawa siya ng katarantaduhan in front of the judge that the judge will declare him in direct contempt. Ewan ko kung abogado ba itong husaka na ito.
So ang issue dito, walang subpoena powers ang ICI. Bakit nag-aaksaya pa ng panahon dyan?
Wasting time, wasting money. Bakit hindi na lang i-abolish yan? Unang-una, kaduda-duda din yung mga member. Itong Babe Singson, I just discovered pala na hindi din naman ito foolproof na honest and dignified. Man of integrity dahil narinig ko may mga nakaraan yan sila ni ang daw nito bata-bata yung Momo allegedly bagman daw niya allegedly
bata-bata din ni Martin Romualdez
bata-bata na ngayon so paano kung sabihin ni Momo, boss, slow down ka lang dyan sa boss ko na si Martin. Kasi baka mamaya isumbong kita. Magsasalita ako tagit sa iyo. Pagka tinira mo yung boss ko na Speaker of the House. Natatakot. Kaya nga ginugulo ni Babe Singson yung
yung procedure.
Sabi niya, hindi daw pwedeng
parang madyog na.
Hindi daw pwedeng state witness. Sinasabi ng DOJ, pwede. Sinasabi ng Senado, pwede. Mayroong batas.
Secretary, sino ang may subpoena power? Ang Senado ba at Kongreso may subpoena power?
Yes, that is included in the Constitution.
Ang Ombudsman may subpoena power?
That is included in the Ombudsman Law.
Constitution. Ang DOJ?
Mayroong subpoena power because they are a legal office.
Established.
Mostly, the subpoena powers are vested in the fiscal. The prosecution arm of the Department of Justice
prosecutorial
have subpoena powers.
Katulad ng Ombudsman, prosecutorial.
And investigative power. Investigative power.
Now, Korte, may subpoena ba yan?
Yes.
Bakit hindi padaanin in one of these?
Kasi nga gusto nitong bangag
Bakit sa ICI?
na Pangulo, gusto nito, ipapakita niya na seryoso siya na, alam mo, ganito kasi ang pangyayari dyan. Si Marcos, gumawa ng aksyon para hindi mapunta sa kanya yung kaso. Kasi kung tuusin mo talaga, by the sequence of event, na siya talaga ang mastermind. Kasi siya ang nag-release ng pera na kinurakot. Pero, inunahan na niya. Tinanggal niya yung kanyang liability. Kasi whistleblower daw siya. Now, kung whistleblower ka, para hindi aabot sa'yo, kasi sooner or later, aabot sa'yo. Dahil pag natuklasan na yung ginawa ni Martin, ginawa nila sa BICAM, papunta talaga sa kanya. Sooner or later, he will be the one responsible for all this mess. So, parang magtayo siya ng bakod. Itong ICI, bakod ni Marcos ito. It's for his personal gain.
Yeah.
Not really for the public to gain. Kaya gumawa siya ng bakod para hanggang doon lang sa baba. Hindi aabot sa kanya. Kasi hindi naman siya imbestigahan eh. Tapos kung may mga kamag-anak siya or may mga tao na iimbestigahan na pupunta sa kanya ang ebidensya, siyempre, hindi niya papayagan na lalabas siya.
Bulong-bulungan. Oy, psst.
Huwag mo akong dyan. Yan si Saldico, huwag niyo munang imbestigahan yan. Huwag niyo munang imbestigahan yan. Kasi pag pinatawag niyo yan, baka ituro ako. Ituro ako ni Saldico na akong pumirma ang ginawa lang nila Saldico, kumamada lang. In-approve ni Martin yung kinamada ni Saldico. In-approve ni Chis Escudero, yung kinamada nila ni Martin na dalawa sa BICAM. Pero pagdating doon sa GAA, pwede mong itapon yung mga ginawa nilang mga insertions. Pero hindi mo ginawa, kaya nagkaduda-duda na ikaw talaga ang may kagagawan ng lahat, Marcos.
Mabuti pa pala yung sa basketball. Dahil sa basketball, pag binaba mo yung bola, 30 seconds mo lang pwede dribble. Dito you can dribble it forever.
Siyempre, dinidribble niya through the ICI.
ICI yung taga-dribble na. Walang time.
Justice Reyes.
Ginagamit lang kayo.
Kaibigan daw ito ni Juan Itong dating, bang broadcaster na friend nito ni Justice Reyes. Justice Reyes ito, may-ari ng Isa sa may-ari ng aristocrat nagpapaloko pa kay Marcos. Sinira niya yung legacy niya. Pag na-declare ng Supreme Court itong illegal itong ICI,
sira siya dyan.
Nagmumukha siyang...
Baka wala nang kumain sa aristocrat.
Wala na. Kasi... Bakit ka magpapaloko? Si Carpio Morales, hindi nagpaloko. Si Tony Carpio, hindi nagpapaloko. Ikaw, timanggap ka. Are you desperate to have a job?
So I think the best way is bring back the Blue Ribbon Committee with a credible chairman and start the ball rolling.
No, the best thing to do is this. The Department of Justice, who is already in possession of the documents, they were able to share it to former Justice Secretary Remulla. Let the DOJ file already the case against Bryce Hernandez sa Ombudsman. Let the Ombudsman do its... Alam mo kasi under the Constitution, hindi kailangan na may charges Hindi kailangan na may mag-file The ombudsman can motu proprio
Motu proprio, yeah.
investigate if they find that there is a case or
Probable
there are offenses being committed by government officials. They can investigate.
Pero, ang dribble naman dun papunta ka sa
Sa
mga
mga
Duterte.
Well, that's another
Paano
story.
naman yan?
Oh.
Ang laki naman yung basketball.
Pero
court
alam mo,
na yun.
with due respect, maski matino ang ombudsman, ang pinaka-corrupt sa lahat, yung Sandigan Bayan. Because the ombudsman, if they found the probable cause, or ngayon yata, they're now going into the idea of prima facie, to create a prima facie evidence against an offender. Ipapile nila yung information sa Sandigan Bayan. Then there is dito yung prosecutorial arm of the ombudsman. Yun ang magpipresent ng yun ang present ng kaso. Yun ang
represent.
mag-prosecute ng kaso. So, pagdating sa Sandigan Bayan, yayariin na yung mga kaso na yan. Gaya nitong kay Enrile. Sinapolis. Pinaabot lang yung taon-taon. Tapos, he gained power si Enrile. Di naayos. Ang buto-buto. Dismissed. Acquitted. Ang dami dyan, mayroon dyan judge dati sa, I don't know, of course, I know what she did in Cebu. Dati daw paborito ito ng ousted Chief Justice, ginawang dahil nagpapalakas, nagsisip-sip nung pumupunta yung former Chief Justice, yung ousted Chief Justice, pumupunta doon sa Cebu, nagiging kaibigan. Napa-appoint dyan sa Sandigan Bayan. At ito daw yung pinaka-corrupt na judge sa Cebu. I don't know kung ano ngayon ang division dito sa babae na ito. Napaka-corrupt ito kasi nung dumating siya sa Sandigan Bayan, inakwit yung isang senador. Inakwit yung corrupt na mayor ko doon sa probinsya ko. Na iiyak-iyak na kasi makukonvict na, inayos. Kasi yung lawyer yata nila, kabatakan niya doon sa pinanggalingan niyang bayan niya sa Cebu. Napaka-corrupt nito.
So talagang kailangan na ng ano.
Alam mo, maski gaano pa katino, sinasabihan natin na matino si Boying o magtitino si Boying pero pagdating sa Sandigan, wala nang kontrol ang ombudsman diyan. Kung sabihin ko lang kung ang dami kong alam na tumatanggap diyan sa Sandigan Bayan May mga kaibigan pa ako na nagbigay So why is it that the justice system, bakit ang dami, maski seryoso pa si Marcos dyan sa pag-prosecute nitong pero kung corrupt ang Sandigan Bayan, hindi pa rin makukulong yan, pare. Hindi pa rin makukulong.
Pero,
that's why Marcos should, or the Supreme Court should take a second look at the Sandigan Bayan. Bakit nadi-dismiss yung mga kaso? Na very strong yung mga evidence against the accused.
Saka kasi ibalik dapat yung mga marathon hearings para hindi ma-dribble ng gusto. 30 seconds lang ang dribble. Pag hindi mo na issue, change court. Okay.
Okay, so ganun lang po ang pangyayari dito.
Huwag kalimutan mag-subscribe dito sa Iparas kay Paras at i-click ang notification bell. Maraming salamat po.